Welcome to Fascinating Drug Discoveries. I'm Dr. Shagufta Wasim and I bring over a decade of expertise in the dynamic field of drug discovery. I'm passionate about sharing knowledge on how science shapes life-saving medicines. Today, we are exploring a drug with a truly fascinating journey, a compound that was once considered a contraceptive but transformed into a life-saving breast cancer therapy. This is the story of Tamoxifen, a drug that changed the landscape of breast cancer treatment. Let's dive into this fascinating journey. Tamoxifen was initially developed by ICI Pharmaceuticals, today known as AstraZeneca, in 1962 and synthesized by chemist Dora Richardson. Its original purpose? As surprising as it may sound, Tamoxifen was being investigated as a contraceptive. However, the drug didn't quite work as intended for birth control. But in an unexpected twist, researchers noticed something incredible. Tamoxifen had potential anti-cancer properties. During tests, tamoxifen didn't prevent pregnancy, but scientists found that it blocked the effect of estrogen. This was a significant finding because many breast cancers are fueled by estrogen, which act as a growth factor for breast cancer cells. Rather than being discarded, tamoxifen took on a new life, and this time as a cancer fighter. After nearly 2 decades of research and testing, tamoxifen, branded as Nolvadex, was approved by FDA in 1977 for breast cancer treatment. Today, it's one of the most prescribed drugs for hormone receptor positive breast cancer, with millions of people taking tamoxifen each year worldwide. So how does tamoxifen work? To understand tamoxifen mechanism of action, first we need to understand how estrogen affects breast cells. Estrogen is a primary female hormone that plays several key roles, one of which is supporting cell growth and reproduction in various tissues, including breast tissue. It exerts its effect by binding to specific receptors on cells, known as estrogen receptors. In normal breast cells, estrogen binds to these receptors, activating them and causing a cascade of signals that promote cell growth and division. This process is healthy and natural under typical circumstances. Some breast cancers, known as estrogen receptor positive breast cancers, rely on estrogen to grow and spread. When estrogens bind to the receptors on these cancer cells, it sends powerful growth signals, essentially fueling the cancer cells and encouraging them to multiply. When tamoxifen is administered, it enters the bloodstream and reaches breast tissue. There, it competes with estrogen for the same estrogen receptors on breast cells, specifically on the cancer cells. Because tamoxifen has a high affinity for these receptors, it effectively outcompetes estrogen and binds to an estrogen receptor. This prevents estrogen from attaching to estrogen receptor, which blocks the signaling pathway usually activated by estrogen. Without this growth-promoting signal, cancer cells are deprived of the fuel they need to grow and multiply. Consequently, this leads to a slowing or even halting of cancer cell proliferation, ultimately helping to control or shrink the tumor size. Tamoxifen became a game changer in breast cancer therapy, particularly for estrogen receptor positive breast cancer. This wasn't just a breakthrough, it was a revolution in how we think about hormone-driven cancers. Before tamoxifen, treatments like chemotherapy or surgery were the primary options, but they lacked specificity and came with tough side effects. Tamoxifen, on the other hand, represented a more targeted therapy, focusing specifically on estrogen's role in cancer development. Tamoxifen isn't just a treatment for breast cancer patients. It's also used as a preventive measure. For women who are high risk of developing breast cancer, tamoxifen reduces that risk by about 50%. That's a monumental leap in preventive medicine. But here's something even more fascinating. Tamoxifen belongs to a category of drugs called selective estrogen receptor modulators, SERMs. SERMs have a unique property. They can mimic estrogen's effect in some tissue while blocking them in others. In the case of tamoxifen, it blocks estrogen effect in breast tissue while potentially mimicking estrogen in other tissues such as bones and uterus. Tamoxifen not only reduces the risk of breast cancer in women but also support bone health by maintaining bone density and reducing the risk of osteoporosis in postmenopausal women. In fact, studies show a 35% reduction in osteoporosis risk among postmenopausal individuals treated with tamoxifen. In contrast, tamoxifen can thin bones in premenopausal women and therefore increasing fracture risk over time. This dual action highlights the importance of personalized treatment as tamoxifen's effect on bone health vary by menopausal status. Like all drugs, tamoxifen isn't without its risk. While it has saved millions of lives, it does carry some side effects. Common ones include hot flashes, while more serious risks include an increased chances of blood clots. Selective action of tamoxifen can also lead to side effects in other tissues, like the uterus, where tamoxifen may act similarly to estrogen and increases the risk of uterine cancer in some cases. But for most patients, the benefit of tamoxifen far outweigh its risks. Tamoxifen's journey from a failed contraceptive to a pioneering breast cancer treatment is a story of scientific perseverance. It laid the foundation for other targeted therapies in cancer treatment. In many ways, it was one of the first successful examples of what we now call personalized medicine, which is basically a tailored treatment based on an individual's unique genetic, environment, and lifestyle factors. Tamoxifen is still widely used, and its impact on cancer therapy continues to be felt globally. Tamoxifen journey is a powerful reminder of how science can lead to life-saving breakthroughs even when things take an unexpected turn. Thank you for joining me in today's episode of Fascinating Drug Discoveries. If you found this inspiring, please like, share, and subscribe to stay connected to more stories of resilience and innovation in drug discovery. I have also included links to my research papers on tamoxifen in the description, so feel free to check them out for more information. Together, let's celebrate the science that changes lives. Thank you.